Gambit finally has some screen time. I mean, seriously, guys, I have missed Gambit having screen time for years, right? This makes me so happy. Like, seriously, I'm not just some random, like, oh, Gambit. No, I'm an actual X-Men fan, and having Gambit finally get some screen time, it genuinely makes me happy, right? Because, like, I'm the only one that owns a Gambit shirt. I used to have it at my gym, and I remember, honestly, last year, I was at the gym, had my Gambit shirt on me, and a guy was like, nice, Gambit. I was like, yeah, it's nice, bro, Gambit. Because you all know that Gambit is the most underutilized character in X-Men. Anyway, I can't stood up for some time. Forgot about it, but it makes me excited, seriously, right, to see Gambit coming back here, finally. Because like I said, right, he was completely ignored in all the movies and so on. And most of the spin-off, even if he's one of the coolest characters. I will say here as a side note, is a detriment to the X-Men to some extent, right? The Wolverine is so popular. Now, I like Wolverine, don't get me wrong, but obviously, because of Wolverine's popularity, it certainly turned into, like, for example, one of the TV shows is called Wolverine and the X-Men. You know what I mean? Yeah, Wolverine clearly became too popular, right? Of course, this season, Rogue was like, let's be honest here. We finally see Rogue. He's like, yeah. What I'm saying is that this trailer, even if I've seen it, guys, immediately I'm like, I haven't even seen the trailer yet. So we have a goddamn Marvel is doing X-Men, the classic cartoons back. I haven't seen it before. I'm so excited. I see behind me I have a classic Spider-Man, you know, painting, right, as always. Got the X-Men painting over here, of course, the huge X-Men painting here, right. I am quite the X-Men fanboy, okay. Let's say the slightly X-Men fanboy, and this. So this as soon as as soon as I see this trailer, right, I literally hear like it goes in my head immediately. It's like it comes into your head. You don't have to see that anymore. But anyway, I haven't seen it yet, guys. React on YouTube, right? To my understanding, I've heard about the show like last year, but this is the first time I see anything about it. To my understanding, they are gonna like redo nothing, right? They're actually gonna like, keep going. That's why I called X-Men 97, right? So we keep going on 96 storyline. I hope so, at least. It's really interesting, and hopefully, we'll also do continuation on, of course, Earth Mightiest Heroes, Avengers, which was a much better Avengers storyline than the movies were. That was so good too. Jesus Christ! They had like one Avengers show in the early 2000s, which was pretty bad. But the second one, I believe it's in 2000s. EHO, yeah, that was so good. That was really good. Then I made Avengers Assemble, which was okay. It was not terrible, but the second Avengers show in 2000 was really. But now instead I'm gonna watch the X-Men. But now instead I'm gonna watch the X-Men trailer, right? So I think it was really interesting. I love it immediately. You see in the first image, it's like Jean and Scott, right? There's a photo with them. You see actually the Class of Dumbbell. These are also good buys, right? Yeah, like a VHS tape. So this is clearly done in a modern way, but I guess they're trying to like emulate the old school 90s drawing and so on. It's really interesting, I think. So, you know, let's check it out. Yeah, exactly. This is actually continuation on the old one, right? This is of course the final episode. Yes, my X-Men. Is that Morph there? I'm getting so much goosebumps. This is crazy. Marvel is like, this is what we all wanted. Yeah, stop doing the stupid like Loki 2 or the Marvels who can. This is what we want. This is what we want, okay? They should just do this stuff all the time. Is this like the future, there's future past storyline to some extent? That's how it feels like. I wonder if they're gonna, I feel, if I was expecting to do Husf M, I was expecting to do eventually. With Magneto and so on, and everyone, and the decapitation. Never losing their power, so on. Of course, Gambit finally back. This morph, yeah, but it's no, now it's normal morph. They know what we wanted. Yeah, god, you know what, man? Jubilee? Is she be a vampire? Is Yuzu finally? Is she finally gonna turn into a vampire? Rogue? Gambit finally gets some screen time? I'm sorry I'm too loud. I'm just too excited. Gambit getting some screen time, baby! Like, I hate how they, you know, Gambit's one of my favorite characters, and he obviously never got any screen time in the movies. Jesus Christ, man. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Oh my god. It's hot Magneto. It's hot Magneto! Oh my god, yeah! I think it has of M. Let's go to one of my favorite scenes again here. Immediately is the moment when they're turning on. Gambit comes back! Gambit comes back finally! Like, this is the moment where he's like, the goosebumps, and Wolverine is like fourth walling. Can you stop playing the song? And no! Yeah, Storm with the cool 80 haircut. Jubilee, Vampire Jubilee, maybe, right? Evil Bishop, of course. Oh, hot Rogue. Look at it. Oh, and to say, this is my favorite scene, okay? This moment here is my favorite scene in the trailer, right? Because I keep saying it, Gambit, one of my favorite characters. You know what? I'm gonna get my Gambit shirt, okay? Gambit finally has some screen time. I mean, seriously, guys, I have missed Gambit having screen time for years, right? This series makes me happy. Like, seriously, I'm not just some random, like, oh, Gambit. No, I'm an actual X-Men fan, and having Gambit finally get some screen time, it genuinely makes me happy, right? Because, like, I'm the only one that owns a Gambit shirt. I used to have it at my gym, and I remember, honestly, last year, I was at the gym, had my Gambit shirt on me, and a guy was like, nice, Gambit. I was like, yeah, it's nice, bro, Gambit. Because you all know that Gambit is the most underutilized character in X-Men. Anyway, I can't stupid up for some time. Forgot about it, but it makes me excited, seriously, right, to see Gambit coming back here, finally. Because like I said, right, he was completely ignored in all the movies and so on. And most of the spin-off, even if he's one of the coolest characters. I will say here, as a side note, is a detriment to the X-Men to some extent, right? The Wolverine is so popular. Now, I like Wolverine, don't get me wrong, but obviously, because of Wolverine's popularity, it certainly turned into, like, for example, one of the TV shows is called Wolverine and the X-Men. You know what I mean? Yeah, Wolverine clearly became Steve. Rogue was like, let's be honest here. We finally see Rogue. He's like, yeah, the waifu of the anime. Who was a Jean Grey fan? Come on, everyone liked Rogue more. I also like Rogue, and I think that Rogue is also a much better character in the X-Men TV show. Except in the movies, right? She's played by Snooki. Suki. So I think about now. I mean, obviously I do wish that they kept the original ID with Rogue, that her parents actually would be, you know, Mystique and Irina, right? Like, literally, because of Mystique and changing her gender and so on. So it could actually be her father, so to speak. That'd be more interesting, and they kind of censor that. But Rogue is a really good character, and that's also fortunate. I mean, I read it in the comics, right, for many years, and yeah, Rogue has also been a character the last 10, 20 years that has less and less screen time, I would say. Not dwell too much on the modern comics here, but it's a little bit of that. I don't know why, but in the movies, it's a centric character, but I guess it really never took off. Her powers, though, there is one weird thing, and I want to spoil it or whatever, but it's not. But Hope, that is not a mutant, it comes later. I'm not spoiling anything here. I mean, you can say that Hope has a very similar power to Rogue, right? Honestly, I do think that has ruined Rogue as a character to some extent in the comics. Like, seriously, because Hope has the power to use any other mutant power, basically, but she just have to touch them. So she's basically like range Rogue. Yeah, she can use steal so much power on this test, right? And also doesn't necessarily weaken them, and so on. She basically is just a better Rogue. Of course, her powers make sense from a narrative aspect, because Hope is supposed to be like the messiah of the mutants, has all the powers, so people ever a mutant, right? But really, though, I think that has kind of ruined Rogue as a character, and Rogue is in the beginning of Hope's storyline, and then after we get Hope, right, it's kind of like, why would we have, you know, be Rogue, right? So let's start this video here, but honestly, I feel it kind of ruined Rogue with having Hope having this SM powers, which is better, you know. She's power creep. So I just have myself to whine a little bit, do a little bit of critique on the current comics here. But I said during the reaction part, but I would guess they're gonna go into House of M. That'd be my, you know, go-to storylines. House of M is like, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it in the comics, but just the general premise is House of M, House of Mutants, right? Or House of Magneto, whatever. It basically is that everyone has powers, not everyone, but most people have powers. So it's like a reverse, where basically it's like 1% are still humans and 99% are mutants, right? So you kind of flip it around. That's a very, I'll say, iconic X-Men storyline from the modern ages. And then you have kind of the reverse of that, where it's like very few mutants there, where they kind of reverted back again. It's also it's called House of Decimation. So I think those two storylines would fit, and having Magneto here too, this is kind of like he does ally up with them in House of M and so on. He's a good guy, House of M, to some extent. So yeah, I can see it going in that direction. Another storyline that reminds me of course, is Age of Apocalypse, where Magneto is a good guy, right? Because Charles dies young in that universe, he's the one that founds the X-Men instead. So I do think they're definitely gonna play with one of these storylines where Magneto is a good guy, right? And the actual leader or something like that. I think that's definitely what we're going with. So different kind of version of that, right? He's also part of the X-Men during the Avengers versus the X-Men crossover in 2012. So that also could be a thing, but he's one of the Phoenix Five and so on, right? With Jean Grey and so on. And that also might be a thing that it might go with. But it certainly is going to be some of those crossovers. One thing I have to say here, which I really hope that this X-Men 97 will do, is that they're going to help us to finish off and conclude some older storylines. I don't mean X-Men, I mean like Spider-Man and so on, right? Because in the 90s, this, of course, show aired on the same time as Spider-Man TAS, and they had crossovers. For example, Spider-Man got helped by Wolverine and Beast against Lando for Kingpin and so on later, right? So what I mean is that, for example, Spider-Man's ending is a little bit an open. He goes to find MJ by the web, right? That actually could have been concluded in this show now, because this is the same universe. So that's something they did in Batman Beyond, Batman the Future thing, where they actually concluded some Justice League storylines in that show, right? Because it was the same universe, just like 20 years later or whatever. So this show here definitely could actually explain some of the open plot threads from like Spider-Man or Iron Man or whatever back in those days. But also, of course, also been like a commercial to, if this sells well, we can now also remake or re-continuating Spider-Man 97 or whatever, right? So that's something I would hope for, and also what I definitely do if I work there. Because I wait to, like, brigade into other shows, right? For example, another show is DuckTales. DuckTales remake could also have like Gizmo and so on, setting up a bunch of other remake characters like Don Canard and so on. So they could also make like a Tailspin remake and so on if they want to, right? Based on DuckTales remake. So that's how you should think about it, rebuilding that world. But here you can instead, like I said, conclude older shows, right? Which they missed out on, or something that was left up in the air and so on back in those days. I would love if they did that. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Subscribe, like button, and have a great day.